Hello, dear beautiful souls made of love and light. Welcome to today's session, Integration of the Self by the Self. It's a beautiful title. First, let me speak a little bit about how this long session came to be, because it's a work in progress that comes from way back, 3rd of February 2024, my birthday. I woke up that day and I had this thought in mind, which was mind control. How to explain mind control without sounding too aggressive. So in that morning, I started to write something that turned out to be 7 pages and 7 questions. I was about to write the number 8 and there was no guidance for a number 8 question. I stopped and started to work on those 7 pages and saw what I could do about them. At the same time, I was going around with my life and in my path of ascension, dealing with death in my family and preparing for dealing with the death of many other people around the world. Don't know why, but February and March 2024, many good people have died, once for the sakes of their own ascension and others because they still believe in death, which for me is some kind of mind control. With all this in mind, this session was soon to be extended with a little breath work. Once I had the breath work cleared out and stable, I start receiving the YouTube suggestions related to mind control and the fact that this theme is being investigated but not on outside the system. This time it is again the Hollywood people and music industry folks speaking about mind control and so much more. That left me quite excited, so I went into reading more that I had written about mind control, just to see I was not channeling anything. I was asking questions and somehow something was guiding me into the answers. Maybe my own self? Who knows? What I do know is after 2 days, I realized that I was not delivering a session. I was self-imposing my own view of mind control onto this session. It was sounding too aggressive, so it had to be rearranged once again, and it became a 15-page session. This unto itself is already a very long session. I was working on the session and time went by and I saw myself making tests for a new section in the channel called Random Thoughts that will be soon online. I didn't realize and February was gone with a lot of changes that were anything but the start of a new cycle of changes and closing of cycles, old cycles, and opening of new ones. Then came March, which was a big time in matters of changes and confrontations that were like triggers that I had to meet again in order to solve them once and for all. This usually isn't pretty, and it was even affecting my job performance. Time here is the great healer, and this line of events or changes taking place led me to go even deeper in this today's session. And every time you go deeper in any matter, the process seems to bring more pieces of the puzzle together. I soon realized I wasn't capable of getting the video out because the emotions I was going through were not the best ones. I had to wait, practice what I preach for the end of the cycle, a big cycle of 20,000 years, 26,000 years. And so instead of just 15, now this session is set in 22 or 23 pages of text and a lot of personal work put into them. Instead of a regular session of clearing or using other people's work to help create this session, this is a full-on session created by Raphael YCW MCEO, the Pathfinder. Two months in the making. There's a lot packed up in this session. In the session, I won't be speaking about nothing more than mind control, integration of the self by the self, the fact we are all energy, and the fact that we are all multidimensional beings capable to tap into the most unseen frequencies of energy. Because everything is energy, right? We will experience, during this session, small exercises of awareness in order to integrate the self, or should I say, the multidimensional self. Some silence parts, and why not? Some small, simple and easy breathwork exercises to clear and focus the entire self, in order for the self to integrate the self and this way create a coherent field of multidimensional energy, standing waveform that allows for a new vision of self. Did I said it was going to be a long session? If I did, then again, let me say, it will be a long session. So please, take in that what resonates with you and let go of what doesn't resonate with you. If you think someone can benefit from this session, feel free to share it. Prepare yourselves for a long session and for shifts and changes in my voice, because we are a social memory complex, so parts of the session will have a type of energy consciousness and other parts it will be another type of energy consciousness. What I didn't expected was that this session would come to be before the April's 2024 eclipse. It is like a redemption session for my graduation and someone else's graduation time, as we see the closing of the 26,000 year cycle. Probably we can't all remember the last time this happened, but many were given calls to wake up right now for this graduation process. We could say it's a reset of the zodiac. So many resets taking place. That's why this session took me so long to put together. We can now say that this session is my offering to the ones assisting us on our session path and to the one infinite and intelligent source creator on these times of graduation into another level of existence. I won't take any more of your time. I think with this brief introduction, you have it all more or less explained that this will be a long session. You can expect at least 2 hours. So I will take the advantage to say beforehand, thank you for being here and sharing your time with us. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all, humans and non-humans, everyone willing to deal with mind control, getting out of mind control, helping others to get out of mind control, and into a wonderful life, being the best version of yourself. It's not easy. Even if you wish send, let's say, to the dimension 1000, you would still have a huge responsibility of maintaining your self-integrity. That is all about integration of the self by the self. It's all about self-integrity and seeing yourself as the best version of yourself. Thank you, and we will see you on the other side. Namaste. Integration of the self by the self. Hello, beautiful souls made of love and light. In this today's session, we will address the integration of the self by the self. What is that, you may ask? As we saw in previous sessions, usually our self gets obscured by thoughts, words and actions that are not totally our own. Sometimes these thoughts, words and actions can bring fears to surface. Fears that, like I said, are not totally our own. Some of them can cause us to lower our guard and vibrational frequencies. Sometimes we have these voices inside of us telling us we are not worthy, that all we do to help ourselves to heal is simply not good enough, because we live in a polluted world that we have helped to pollute. Therefore, we are evil creatures that pollute and probably destroy their own habitat. What about that voice that says, you have lived too much with your 60 years of old age, and the best thing you can do is just die in order for someone else to live a good life? Is this to you? Did it happen to you or to some friend of yours? Can you honestly believe all these things you hear from those voices inside your head? Can you say they are your own inner voices? What have you done to pollute the habitat? Do you use plastics? Oh, I know, you just read the detergent tag you use to wash thy clothes, and you saw that is filled with chemicals that are harmful to our habitat and ourselves? Or maybe, just maybe, you realized you are using a car that emits CO2. Oh God, if you realize even better, you breathe in oxygen and exhale what? Oh yeah, CO2. So are you really evil because you breathe? Yes, you breathe. And that is harmful to the planet and the others around yourself? See here, we really need self-integration to deal with all of these issues that prevent the self to fully be whom the self really is. The session is fully dedicated to rise up from the mediocrity of linear thought presented by the system of domination and control, which we will relate to as a Zodak. In this session, we will see and read and answer many questions and deal with many answers that some of you will not like to hear, but they are needed to help us integrating the true self by this self still immersed in the Zodak distortions. I only pray that I won't be too hard on you, because some of the questions are really meant to take down all that you have read, listened, and spoken about yourself, the self that still bonds to the system of domination and control. The system isn't here to help you, but to exploit you. You want to get out? It is practically impossible. What you can do is to send it away, back to where the system has come in the first place. Sending them home would be the best thing, instead of fighting and keep on perpetuating the fight in the name of God. Please remember that you are a God, sovereign, free, multidimensional being having this human experience in this beautiful sphere of influence that we call planet Earth, Gaia, Terra, or Terra. If you are all that is, then you are also a part of the system mentioned above. Fighting the system is fighting yourself and giving your life force to the system of fight. Those people die while in the system of fight. If we guide them to a life-supporting system, they will live and enjoy life, perpetuating life on and off. Oh boy, what a journey this one will be, dear beautiful souls. So many questions. I love questions because we are the Yellow Crystal Warrior Kin 116. And our daily affirmation is: I dedicate in order to question. Universalizing fearlessness, I seal the output of intelligence with a crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of elegance. So, with this being said, let's address them questions, and maybe, just maybe, we can get them questions answered without fears of the outcome. Because as you realize, the outcome is something that you and me, that we cannot control. So, why to fear something that you and me, that we cannot control? Let's address the questions, and we have 7 of them. Let's look at them briefly. Number 1, can you believe all these things you hear from those voices inside your head? Number 2, can you say they are your own inner voices? Number 3, what have you done to pollute the habitat? Number 4, do you use plastics? Number 5, do you use the detergent to wash your clothes, or do you make your own? 6, do you often breed? 7, do you think you have lived enough? Do you believe in death? Here we have our 7 questions that are great questions and that need a great answer. Once you know what you are doing here on earth, it is much easier to address self integration. The analogy goes that if you don't know yourself, you cannot integrate yourself. Period. I want to take the time to perform a little awareness exercise. I ask that you please close your eyes while you think about the question. Can you believe all these things you hear from those voices inside your head? I ask that you please close your eyes while you think about the question. And now, let's take awareness of our surroundings while with our eyes closed. Feel yourself. It is really important to feel yourself. If you want to, you can touch yourself just to make sure you are all there inside your body, mind, and soul, with your awareness rooted in this ever-present moment of the now. Just that. Feel comfortable with yourselves and the surroundings where you are, while with your eyes closed. Now please, take a breath in through your nose, fully filling your lungs with key, vital life force. Instead of just breathing air, we will acknowledge the air as living life force, and you are filling your entire self with this vital life force. Take it in, a full breath in, filling in fully your lungs and holding there for as long as you can. On the exhale, we will let go the air and stay there without breathing for as long as you can and repeat for 4 times. It goes like this. In nose, hold for as long as you can. Out. Empty the belly, hold there without breathing for as long as you can. For as long as you can. And repeat for 4 times. So number 2. In nose, hold. Out mouth. Hold. And repeat. In nose, hold. Out mouth. Hold. In nose, hold. Out mouth. Hold. Keep going there. It is a small exercise with simple steps. Now pay attention to your entire body as you breathe in and out. Focus your attention in how the body expands and contracts with each breath. Don't rush anything, just full in breath, hold, and releasing. Holding without air for as long as you can and repeat it. Release. Hold there without breathing for as long as you can. This part is important. And repeat. In nose, hold, out mouth, hold, in nose, hold, release, hold, in nose, hold it there for as long as you can now. Feel. It is really important to feel. Concentrate on the breathing and in the body movements. In and out, holding for as long as you can and repeat. Release. Hold. In, nose, hold, you can tilt your head back and look into the sky. Release. Hold. In nose. Hold. Tilt your head back, look into the sky. Out mouth. Hold. One last time. Now really the fullest and holding for as long as you can. The in and the out breath. In nose. Hold. It is really important to feel. Out mouth, hold it there. Now, in that moment of self, say to yourself, I am that I am that I am, rooted in this ever-present moment of the now that is always changing into something else while I remain the same during the entire process of transformation, a beacon for others to reach a good shore, for others to find home to where they belong. Today I realize that I am a God, sovereign and free, multidimensional being. Thank you, one infinite and intelligent source creator. Please breathe your living light codes into my created form in order for me to do what must be done. Now you can go back to your normal breathing, taking awareness of yourself, still with your eyes closed. Notice any sensations, if you feel anything different, better or worse. So let's create a protective bubble around ourselves in a 360-degree fashion. Picture this ball of light that is your protective shield filled with rainbow plasmas, all merged and cooperating to give you this awareness and experience of the multidimensional being that you are. Go with your own breathing rhythm. Don't force anything. Now, the vital life force becomes plasma, life force technology, life sciences combined to nurture you and restore your entire self accordingly to the original plan, in order for you to be able to fully integrate yourself in this present moment of the now. Now, you are protected and loved by the plasmas. The plasmas have their own consciousness. Plasmas are alive. Everything is alive, even a rock or your bones. Everything in you turns into light, this rainbow light. As you breathe in and out, insides and the outsides, as far as your protective bubble is. You are safe, shining your light. Don't be afraid. Just breathe in and out and shine, inside, outside, going with the flow, feeling your own energy flow. Now we ask the guardians, all our families of light and higher selves and God Source to assist us in this process of gaining awareness with our eyes closed for the full size and scale of our unique multidimensional self. Say it out loud. Today I realize that I am a God, sovereign and free, multidimensional being, made of love and light, also power and peace, that originates in the one open heart of the one infinite and intelligent source creator directly into me, a singular multidimensional piece of source creator. I am the creator. I am a Creator. Thank you all for assisting us in creating this sacred space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can keep breathing there for a little bit longer as you softly open your eyes, or stay with your eyes closed as the journey into questions begins. Thank you very much, multidimensional beings that are with us today. Thank you for your love and support. Let us begin. So number one question is a very tricky one. Can you believe all these things you hear from those voices inside your head? Right now, the awareness that I have is that I have less voices in my head than I had when I started this session. That's for sure. And for sure, I do listen to voices inside my head. But I do understand that this is a very tricky one. Why? Because no one wants to admit to think they have these voices inside their heads. Most people deny the fact that they are listening to voices which are not their own, or they are not totally their own. This way, by analogy, they say, I don't listen to voices inside my head. And it is true, they block their own thoughts, the voices inside their heads, and go like zombies, without a mind of their own. Like robots, they listen to the voices of the Sodak saying, you are polluting, you are doing this and that, and they believe it, because their voices inside their heads are speaking and they don't care. They block them because they say, I don't have voices inside my head, and I do believe we, the human race, is destroying the planet, accordingly to what science says. Many people call these individuals the sleepers. They only listen to what they want to, or so they think. And now, for the ones that do listen to voices inside their own minds, you are not crazy. Or you are not totally crazy. You are actually a radio station, quite literally a multidimensional radio station that picks up even the conversations that are taking place on another dimension that we cannot see, nor understand that exists such dimension. But it exists, and you can tap into it, and if you are not afraid, you can even communicate using that multidimensional energetic frequency band. If we now follow the analogy, we can see that our planetary sphere is saturated by electronic, artificial, man-made, and natural radio waves, and many more other type of airwave communications. Some of these waves, we can tap into them without knowing and start to listen to something that is not our own thinking, but communications taking place in the air, and that may influence our own thinking. Same way, the Sodak can use these airwave communications to enter your own energetic signature frequency of broadcasting and receiving multidimensional information, planting any type of thoughts the Sodak wants to imprint on you, using also multidimensional airwave communications and many other types of communication, not just airwaves. I know you may not like what you are listening to right now. You can call me crazy, and that's okay. How can I tap into the communications that are taking place in the air. How, in the name of God, am I a multidimensional radio station because I don't understand what that is, and you're totally fine. And you're not crazy. And it's okay to call me crazy. Honestly, that's okay. I always have been the crazy guy, but now we have science, and also a very advanced type of science. The quantum world science that speaks about something they call quantum entanglement. And this way, maybe I don't sound too much as a crazy person anymore, because quantum entanglement states that an atom here on planet Earth can even feel, not just listening, but feeling, the other atom that is on the other edge of the universe. So there is this multidimensional unseen communications taking place here, between the atoms that we don't understand. We are made of atoms as well. So, can you see where I am going here? Yes, I am going to reach the end of this answer for question number 1. If you want more unrelated to this question, use the comment section, please. All that I can say is that today there is already tons of information about this without going into conspiracy realms, just using science. I will give you one topic and you think about it. It is related to mind manipulation, units of perception. Okay? This is really a tricky one. We are going to deal with simple multiplication. Okay? Let's multiply 1 times 1 and we have the equal result of 1. It is saying that I have one thing, and when I multiply that one thing by itself, I get one thing or the same thing itself. I know people think that 0 is equal to nothing. For me, it is equal to one thing, which is nothing. That's why if I have 0 thing, then I have at least in my mind an entry point that multiplied by itself will only give itself in return. If you put it there, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 0, it will give you 0 because we have agreed socially that 0 is nothing. So from nothing and following every one line of thought here, from nothing I can only get nothing. So when you have one thing like a human being, you multiply that human being by itself one time, you will get not one but 2 human identicals. Human beings. 2 identical human beings. It's true. If you don't understand, this is freaking clone principle. You know what cloning is, right? If yes, then you can really see the system of numbers you are operating from. One imposed number system that is to say at least tricky in its original formation. You can go and search sum, dividing, and subtracting. They all have one law. When you reach multiplication, multiplication has at least 3 laws in order for us to understand multiplication in all of its glory. So I'm sorry, but in its original formation, multiplication, it's quite a mess. So making 0 nothing sometimes, and other times, when bonded in a certain fashion, it serves as a number amplifier. That's tricky. Something that works nothing, then it can transform a number in something that is bigger than nothing, which if you multiply the nothing by the number gives you the nothing. So how does it serve as an amplifier? Okay, we have just discovered another paradox. okay? Or a possible way of mind manipulation in which confusion and distortion is really easy to come by and spend some time with oneself, distorting and confusing the oneself until it reaches a breaking point of surrendering to a system that imposes rules, not natural rules that sustain life, but artificial rules that distort, confuse, and this is equal to taking away life force from you. You bond to the system that you don't understand. Admit it while you can. Even the most advanced masters and teachers won't teach you this. However, today we are stationed in the long timeline that is said to be the 21st century. Are we on the year of 2101? Nope. We are still in the 2000 or the 0th century. It should be the 20th century, by analogy. Want an example? From century 1 to century 2, it goes exactly 100 years. So, by analogy, from century 0 to century 1, exactly 100 years have passed. We celebrate century 0, 2. Or 2, century 2, in what year? In the year 2 we celebrate the century 2? No. We, on the 1999 year, we were, in the past, calling it the 20th century, but it goes with 19, not 20. So right now you can take the advantage to wake up for the reality that you are living in the 0th century, and that has a huge value. Just 100 units. What is that? In a system that uses decimals to go around their lives while they have 20 fingers on their bodies, but they are using a mathematical system of 10. On itself, it's an irregularity. And then you have the ruler that puts 0, 1, 2, and you follow the rule, and the ruler is okay. But then you go and put on centuries, and somebody is eating you 100 years in each zero-point cycle, and then you have global reset of the economy and whatever, and you don't understand what the 0 point is because someone stole your awareness of what the 0 is, because they are making fun of you. Sometimes the 0 is nothing, sometimes the 0 is an amplifier. I will stop here and take us into question number 2. Okay? And this is something that is practical for you to see and understand. If you cannot see and understand this, do you see how easy it is to mind control you? It's too much, too many units of awareness that they have stolen from you while creating, the best system that they can to help you, right? Because the system is here to help you, right? Pay your taxes and they will help you. If you don't pay your taxes, they won't help you. Unless you are a migrant and you have nothing but you. So think about yourself. And let's go into question number 2. Can you really say they are your own inner voices? These voices that you have inside your head? This is easy if it was easy for you to grasp the number 1 answer. If not, Let's do it again using another type of language. This time we will see ourselves in the mirror. Now stop thinking. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Come on. Stop thinking. You want to, but somehow, after some seconds, these thoughts that are not totally your own come into mind. Can you say those thoughts are really your own thoughts? You can take me as an example. Many times a day I had to say, can these voices please shut up because they are not totally my own thoughts? Because I am not thinking about anything and something inside me is starting to speak by itself and it is not me. So please shut up and let me be in peace with my own thoughts. I know it can be a little bit tricky to know if it is you or not hacking your self-moment of peace. Like it is tricky to know if those airwave communications are affecting you artificially or in a more natural way. And basically, this is how you can discern consciously if another one is hacking your energetic signature frequency or if you are tapping into the many energetic signature frequencies that we are immersed in while living on planet Earth each day. And it goes like 24 hours a day. The exercise is easy. You don't need to meditate on it. You just need to consciously say to yourself, I am not thinking. I don't want to think. I want a moment of peace and silence. This is easy, and it will only take about 1 or 2 minutes of your precious time. You don't need 30 minutes meditating on your navel to realize what is there to be realized about this exercise and the fact that you can pick up radio messages from people and electronic devices as well. This way, it's quite easy to implant any thought I want into you, especially because today we all have a tracking device that looks like a micro oven always attached to you, receiving and sending pulse signals to the central of operations or the central of domination and control. They dominate you by keeping a constant track on you on your energetic signature frequency. Then they introduce thoughts into you by listening to your thoughts, like they do with a mobile device you are attached to right now. Or in later days, it was art. An object can have really special properties and lead you to do things that you want or you do not wish to do. You do not believe this? Watch the movie Inception on any kind of movie related to the paranormal, like Halo, where the super soldier touches a stone and gets affected by its power, revealing a new world. Or you can read this tiny bit of information coming from one of Morgan Freeman's documentary entitled Through the Wormhole. Funny. It's really a nice title, and it goes like this: mental modification. But these technologies are already raising ethical issues. We don't know how fast the technology is going to progress, Cullen says. Freeman goes on to explore an even more startling possibility. If thoughts can be decoded, could they also be altered? For example, imagine if you could turn an amateur into an expert in a single day. This is the mission of neuroscientist and entrepreneur Chris Burka. Athletes, performers, or other experts can tap into a state of extreme mental focus called being in the zone. The zone state, which amateurs can achieve too, has a particular signature frequency in the brain activity. The neurotech company Burka runs is developing technology to monitor people's brain activity during a task, such as archery, and notify them when they have reached their peak performance state, aka the zone. Essentially, the technology gives people the ability to hack into their own brains in order to improve their performance. Isn't that freaking interesting? Brain hacking is quite easy. That's why so many good people is taking other many good people back into their heart brains. That's the only part of the human body science, or should I say, artificial science, cannot tap into. It is just too much complex, having at least two different sets of brain activity, plus the heart own awareness of the I am, that he, she, it is. Because the heart comes in many ways, shapes, sizes, and forms. With this awareness, let us move into question number 3. Hooray! And I say hooray because we are reaching the first hour, dear beautiful people. If you are still there, hang with us just a little bit more. Like I said, it is a very, very long session. So question number 3. What have you done to pollute the habitat? What have you done? What trickery? How bad were you? I love this one, and the fact people are thinking that by farting out loud, one releases methane, a very harmful gas for the ozone layers, or at least some say that this process of farting methane is harmful to the planet. Others think they are polluting the habitat by using plastics, clothes, chemicals, and so much more. It makes me laugh, especially if I use my imagination to get the picture of an entire planet with all the farting beings taking these huge farts every hour, and the ridiculous image of the planet engulfed in a green-like cloud of gas from these farts. Please look around you. Such cloud exists? Nope. So why do you keep on listening to the voices of the Zodiac, plus all the mediocrity people that listens to the Zodiac when they say cows' farts are harmful and we need to stop eating meat? Not because we are killing too many animals that we don't need to kill in order to feed people. Actually, the majority of the meat worldwide is put into the trash can due to the stupid mass production of animals in animal farms. And as I see it, the regulators are the Zodiac, and people are listening to the Zodiac, not voices inside their heads, direct talking, using words and symbols and propaganda. And yet, still, those people that listen to the Zodiac they still cannot listen to their own thinking. Not all the people are like this, I know that, but what we are addressing here is the fact that you do not pollute. In fact, you create pollution by not listening to your own line of thinking and by engaging in a line of thought that you don't know anything about and that you use because you need stuff. You like animals and raising the animals to a good and healthy state in order for other people to eat them and by analogy, feeling good and healthy. We could say that we use plastic too much, we could reduce it. I say again, stop listening to someone else's line of thought. Engage in your own line of thought. If I do this, I think that now they want me to reduce plastics when I know that from before they even thought about that thought. Old folks that lived before me and without science, following analogy, they had these rules of using glass instead of plastic. They recycled much better than what we do today by engaging in their own thinking and realizing that they were inside a planet that gives them a lot of resources for them to be able to live good and leave something to the younger generations. The Zodiac does something almost the same. Tells us that we need to do this and that because the planet cannot give us all that we need for all to survive. We need to make sacrifices if we want that our children can have a planet in the future. See? Almost the same. It doesn't sound the same. I think that something here is different. Maybe I am just going crazy or not. The same Zodiac that says this to you is the same Zodiac people that after a scientific research that proven plastics are harmful to the planet and human beings said it is okay to start using planets because they thought they are not harmful. And this is why you use the plastics in the first place. Because the Zodiac regulatory machine said to you that it is okay to use plastics. And all the other stuff. You are forced to use something based on lies, okay, and distortions and confusion. Did they of the Zodiac tell you about the research that proven plastics are harmful to the planet and our health? I guess they only tell you what is important. Why didn't they told you that someone filed a court process that demands an immediate stop on plastic production? The Zodiac will tell you that it is okay to produce plastics and use them without issues to our health, and you believe them. And now you feel sorry that you use plastics and you see yourself as an evil personality. I only see you got hacked by the Zodiac and their lobby minions. But to get to this conclusion, I need to have a mindset and thinking of my own. Many people doing this, exercising a mindset and thinking of their own, have discovered a way to use plastic that is not harmful and that can be recycled properly in order to affect positively ourselves and all other cells that live in the planet and the planet itself. We are not on radio waves anymore. This time we have actually words from the Zodiac just for you to see that in a way or another, they do not want you to have a mindset of your own. This way, they can continue to lie, inserting words and ideologies that can influence you in a very harmful way. In the end, as we see here, you do not pollute nor help polluting the planet and others around you. You are being hacked by a line of thought that is not your own. And then things happen and you feel fear of what you are doing. Sometimes shame also comes into play. It's a little bit weird, but it is this way things work while inside the system of domination and control without you being aware and in your face daily, 24/7. In the end, we have voices inside our head that can come from radio waves or people or seen and unseen places and spaces that we cannot possibly understand right now in this stage of our evolutionary path. I wish that in a nearby future I can understand all of this in order and priority needed now for my correct ascension awareness that I am a God, sovereign, free, multidimensional being. I am a being that is here with a mission. And the planet provides for everyone, everything, and more that we cannot understand. This is what the voices inside my head are saying, that I have come here with a mission. And that mission is to raise awareness, at least in this session, for the mind control that you receive each day. So you cannot say, nor blame, nor shame the system of domination and control, because you are allowing it. The system of domination and control, it can only get this far until you allow it. If you do not allow it, if you are aware and conscious of yourself as being energetic consciousness, as energy, you are energy. If you understand this, then you can get yourself out of the system of domination and control that sees you no more as something. You are not even a human to them. You are something that they can feed upon, lie, distort, and confuse. And we are here to learn about this stuff and to grow into higher consciousness and discover ourselves in the process. So let's move on, and we have question number 4. Do you use plastics? Well, what to say about this? Everyone uses plastics, or almost everyone. We use it because it is malleable, it doesn't hurt us, and allows for more commodity in the transport. What? You do not believe me? Okay, let's listen to science. Plasticity of approach. One major barrier to the growth of new industries in remote or rural areas, it is the sheer distance between towns. But herein lies one example of the opportunities that the new plastic economy could create, with higher levels of employment, a consistent output, and a true example of the circular economy in action. Growth in these areas will in turn create more opportunities for the next generation, who are seeking roles in which they cannot only innovate and build a career, but can also make a positive difference to our planet, all while strengthening the economy by capturing the plastic we already have in circulation by developing clusters of direct collaboration along the supply chain can not only strengthen local relationships but also capture value and create higher levels of transparency along the line. Food manufacturers and high-density polyethylene HDPE containers offer one example of how regional loops might be created. This principle will be the same for other plastics similar to HDPE, with each having specific behavioral characteristics that can be applied to other long-term uses. A food manufacturer will review their production process to ensure the plastic used for packaging containers is a pure resin that is not cheap, low-grade material, which demonstrates the value of specific plastics versus cheap, low-performance products that continue to end up in landfill. An end-of-service partnership is created with a local plastic processing facility to which consumers can take their used containers either to be sterilized to food-grade quality and returned to the food manufacturer, or to be shredded, washed, and manufactured into pellets that can then be recycled. This establishes the first local loop. The pellets then go to the next partner in the supply chain, an end market manufacturer who can either manufacture more containers out of the recaptured material, or alternatively they could produce high-performance parts that can support other industries such as construction, marine, or aviation. These parts that were then utilized in complementing industries can then be remanufactured again at the end of their service for that particular use. It was taken from "We Can Use Plastics to Change the World for the Better," December 27, 2019. You don't like it? Someone is not telling you everything? This is the page of the World Economic Forum. I suggest that you enter the site, where you can also read some blue hyperlinks that will take you into different stories about the effects of plastic worldwide. It says, have you read "Plastic waste from Western countries is poisoning Indonesia"? The other one says, "Why a global treaty is needed to tackle our plastic problem." Number 3, "Setting the facts straight on plastics." You still want more? Okay. The first man-made plastic was created by Alexander Parks, who publicly demonstrated it at the 1862 Great International Exhibition in London. The material, called Parkesine, was an organic material derived from cellulose that, once heated, could be molded and retained its shape when cooled. If you want a brief timeline of the evolution of plastics, you can search it. The precursors were natural rubber method of processing invented by Charles Goodyear, vulcanite invented by Thomas N. Cook, gutta percha invented by William Montgomery, shellac invented by Alfred Critchlow and Samuel Beck, bois de Russie invented by Francois Charles Lepage, and we have from 1839 the Goodyear, in which Charles Goodyear invented the method of processing natural rubber. 1839, and we can go all the way down into 1985. Liquid crystal polymers. Again, this is history, and the webpage I got the information from is in the description of the video. You don't own any of these companies, so you are not using plastics. If you are not aware of what plastics are and that someone is making them for you to use, well, I think that we could say that you are being forced to use something that you don't know anything about it, more than what someone is telling you. That, accordingly to science, should know better than you. What you can say is that someone is forcing you in a subliminal way to use such materials because they want you to use, and then making you feel bad in shame of yourself when things go wrong, and I mean really wrong. I don't care for a circular plastic economy. What I want is a friendly plastic and friendly free economy. What I want to know is that the plastic I am using is friendly to the water and food I place in them. I want to know that animals and plants and all that is inside this planetary sphere will not be affected harmfully nor negatively. And the economy I want is a money-free economy where we share our global resources in equal manner. Now the truth? I am tired of going around this subject, and we have our answer. You are not aware of the things you do, and then you blame you and others like you for destroying the planet. I said now the truth, so here it goes again, science. How do I find non-toxic plastics? When looking for a non-toxic plastic water bottle or food containers, it's important to remember that plastic, and I mean all plastic, is a combination of refined oil and several chemicals. Therefore, there is no such thing as non-plastic. Even plastics that are recyclable are made of chemicals potentially harmful to health. Instead, choose food and drink containers that are plastic-free. Here are a few ideas for healthier material choices and uses. Glass, water bottles, milk containers and drinking glasses. Ceramic, food storage containers, mugs, picture frames. Solid hardwood with non-toxic finishes. Salad bowls, cooking utensils. Stainless steel, travel coffee mug, cooking utensils, lightweight mixing bowls. Now that we have this cleared, let's get into another question. The number 5, right? Do you use detergent to wash your clothes, or do you make your own? Let's go saying yes, everybody. Even me, I say yes, I use detergent. I don't make my own detergent to wash my clothes, but I know that around me there are a lot of people who do so. In here, we could do the same exercise as the previous one, so go and find the non-toxic detergent. Now we are almost in the end of the questions, and so far I am having fun seeing that we, the common folks, do not pollute. We are forced in a subliminal way to use polluting materials by the elite who controls the economy, that have allowed for the plastics to spread, poisoning other countries while it's okay. They even go further as to promote a circular plastic economy to pollute less or to employ more people. They also seem to tell you that you are the one to blame for the bad use you give to plastic. Correct me if I am wrong here in this statement. Use the comment section to do so. You can also watch many documentaries related to Coca-Cola, who says we the users are the ones to blame that plastic is being thrown into the seas and literally everywhere, while it's been years that they say are studying to implement new ideas on how to make use and reuse of plastic materials. Another company you could check out, it is Lego. Can you still feel that protective bubble we have created in the beginning of the session? Let's sum that vision in and enjoy a little bit of peace and silence. And think about yourself. Probably you think things about yourself that are not totally your own thoughts. You are not a bad person. You are not polluting anything. You are not being evil. You're just being lied to. Yes, it's in your face. We all know about it. And it is really difficult to start seeing it. It's like looking for those car keys that you really need, but you cannot find. It's almost the same. Okay? So don't blame yourself, don't shame yourself. Because that's not you talking to you. That's some kind of program associated to the Zodiac that keeps on. I don't want to go to the attack. It's a program that wants to really attach into you, making you feel something that you are not. So please summon that bubble of protection we have created before, and you will add into it this pale white silver light and this pale dark silver light. You add the rainbow. Now you have also a pale white silver light shining inside your heart, and a pale dark silver light shining on your heart. The two merged together. As you renew yourself with these colors, color frequencies, sound, we can relate to a color frequency. Light, color frequency. So just breathe there at your natural pace. And think that you are energy, a beautiful, magnificent, brilliant piece of organic technology that was not created, therefore it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. You were not created by the one infinite and intelligent source creator. You are a part of it. You came out to be because he you, wanted to experience himself, yourself, in this multidimensional way, life form that you are today. And that the line of thinking of a creator being is to nurture all of its creations, because even the dark ones are teaching the one infinite and intelligent source creator how not to be, if you want to be, the best version of yourself each day. So can you see? Light, darkness, they are all bound to merge with each other. And when that merging happens, everything becomes clearer. You come into another dimension, the dimension of yourself. Think about it. Hello, and welcome back to yourself. What do you feel right now? Do you feel any change in yourself? Are you more relaxed? Are you more peaceful? Are you more aware of yourself as a peaceful self? So let's take our awareness into next question. We are on question number 6 now. Almost done, dear beautiful souls. Just bear with me for a little longer. Do you breathe often? What do you say? I say, I breathe all the time. Now imagine that someone says that you have to stop breathing for the health of the planet because your CO2 is harmful for the planet. You can't do that? Come on now, let us all stop breathing for 2 minutes for the global health. Only 2 minutes, come on. Oh, that's hard, but it seems easy to stop eating meat and stop using fuel and stop using a lot of things, because we know that fuel or crude oil are not fossil fuels, but they are renewable. What? How can this be that they are renewable? The only issue no one is telling you is that it takes time for the earth to replenish stock. I don't believe me, ask Google Science. You will laugh when you read the definition of renewable sources of energy. Allow me to indulge you with a small bite of it. Here it goes. What is a renewable source? A renewable source is a resource that can be replenished naturally over time. As a result, it is sustainable despite its consumption by humankind. Renewable resources are considered especially important for their potential to replace non-renewable or finite resources in the production of energy. Additionally, renewable resources can offer cleaner energy solutions than those provided by non-renewable resources such as coal and fossil fuels. Examples of renewable resources include the sun, wind, water, the earth's heat, geothermal, and biomass. Now search the word coal and how it is formed. Let's give room for the big National Geographic, I would say magazine, but now they are the worldwide controllers of information, and somehow, like Anthony Fauci was science, these folks are science itself for some other folks. So let them have a word here. Let's discover what coal is. Coal is a black or brownish black sedimentary rock that can be burned for fuel and used to generate electricity. It is composed mostly of carbon and hydrocarbons, which contain energy that can be released through combustion, burning. Coal is the largest source of energy for generating electricity in the world and the most abundant fossil fuel in the United States. Fossil fuels are formed from the remains of ancient organisms. Because coal takes millions of years to develop and there is a limited amount of it, it is a non-renewable resource. Now, what have you listened? Because I have listened that coal is a rock sediment, a rock natural occurring, and the largest source of energy generating electricity in the world. A sediment that over time gets replenished. They don't tell you that. But there is always a but to catch or slap, depending on your natural tendencies. The but says, coal takes millions of years to develop, and there is a limited amount. Wait a minute, I just read it is the largest and most abundant fossil fuel in the United States. So, I am not going crazy. Someone wants me to go crazy here. Well, that can also be just me. Let's make a moment of silence as I read this again slowly, as you listen carefully. Then we make a minute of silence again to integrate the self. Coal is a black or brownish black sedimentary rock that can be burned for fuel and used to generate electricity. It is composed mostly of carbon and hydrocarbons, which contain energy that can be released through combustion, burning. Coal is the largest source of energy for generating electricity in the world and the most abundant fossil fuel in the United States. Fossil fuels are formed from the remains of ancient organisms. Because coal takes millions of years to develop and there is a limited amount of it, it is a non-renewable resource. Yes, it is to integrate something most of you don't know exists. Peace, love, unity, and respect. What are you? A renewable or a non-renewable source of energy? Can human beings or the source of human beings be replenished over time? Well, if we see around these days, maybe not. We have reached the point that we cannot replenish the number of human beings needed for the world infrastructure of today. It's in the news also. Population demographics are low. People don't want to have children. There is even a company that created an artificial womb. So, are we going to start to make kids? No. We are killing a lot of them because we need to control some of them. All we see here is profit, mind hacking, voices inside your head saying you need to work to make a living, for example. Not even a worthy life, just make for a living. If you don't work, you don't make money, so the voice says, take the job and do the best you can. You need to order the eviction of an individual who cannot pay for its housing anymore. And the voice keeps saying, do your best to keep the job. It is not your business. That voice is you. That voice is becoming you. You are that voice by choice. You have chosen, but the environmental situation education has affected your decision negatively because you know not any better. Someone is saying these things to you. The contract says, or the contract holder says, do this and that, whatever it is, and you fucking need the job. There is no other thing you can do, can you? You are now the contract. You are now the contract, the company, and therefore it is your business to stop living in fear and help the other that is about to get evicted because it doesn't know any better due to the same fear you have of losing something you need the most: shelter, property, security that leads to self-integrity, the knowledge of the self. In order for the self to integrate the self by the self, without that, how can you integrate that? You cannot. Eventually, all of this is translated into identity or loss of identity, easy to control, to mind manipulate, brain hacking. What to do? You could start by redacting your own contract or contract revocation. But can you? What would you write there? To whom? To your mom and dad? What contracts you have with your mom and dad? With your relatives, with your boss? Maybe the foster care designed to deal with Peter Pan lost orphan kids? To the company you are signing in or have signed in? This last part here is interesting for me, because this last part here is something that you do each day. So, if you are really, really lucky, to the company you are signing in or have signed in, you can create a beautiful contract, which is an agreement. And it's almost like a soul agreement. I did that once I understood what is our own soul contract or contract. And actually, you can start there, on that company you work for. Instead of a contract, you go for an agreement. If you can. If you cannot, because there are companies that you cannot. You have to follow the contract or else. So go with the or else and search everything else that provides you a safe place for work and to have a mind of your own while working. A mind of your own that you can share with others in order to cooperate, co-create with others that are allowed to have a mind of their own. Because this way, I'm almost sure that in the beginning, it may be difficult, but in the long run, this company will make a lot of abundance. Will generate so much abundance that I cannot even imagine or fathom. We have many examples around the world. And if you are just waking up from a dream spell where that voice is saying to you, the contract is working for money, therefore it involves traffic of human beings, animals, plants, rocks, and whatever you can think of. These thoughts are all punished by law, natural laws and artificial man-made laws, and fundamental principles of creation that cannot be violated into extinction. Yet, we keep making contracts and selling ourselves for the highest price like a whore would do, while being under a contract that says it is okay to be exploited and to exploit in the same measure and weight. Working to build up wealth and be on top of everyone else, ruling the fates of the ones who don't know any better due to the lack of information or information manipulation and censoring of information that makes you to take any contract by any voice saying anything in the name of God and personal security, what is best for you, because you know not any better, and we do. We, the system of domination and control, knows better what is better for you. Shut up and obey. Until you buy one day some sunglasses that suddenly give you a new perspective of life, and you start reading the subliminal words that somehow lead you to take one action or the other reaction, unconsciously or consciously, while you think it is consciously, and you cannot do anything about it, because we, the human species, are all but sinners, whatever that means, whatever the distortion is. Well, we can do a small exercise. Think about the time when you first heard the phrase, or you bring money to the table or you don't eat. Where do you heard that? Who told you that? I can do the same exercise, and maybe it was my mom or dad or my grandparent or an uncle. I don't know. What I do know is that it is a voice inside my head since young age speaking about money, and that life isn't for free. That is true for me. If I see past through the illusion, it was a voice, like many other voices, saying other many words that led me to take some actions that someone said it was my actions. But that doesn't mean it was my own conscious thinking. My conscious thinking, words and actions, those were conditioned by something that people don't seem to understand, and that is quite real, which is mind control. It comes from many places and spaces, peoples and objects that can be very close and bonded to you since literally a very young age. And many of us have lived millions of young ages, millions of lifetimes. So now you can time travel and remember your mom and dad, or before that, and their voices inside your head. Make the best to introduce one good thought or memory for every not so good one. Think about it while we make a minute of silence. So let's go into question number 7. Let me refresh that one for you, because we are almost in the end. This one, it's the last one. Do you think you have lived enough? Yes, I am here to hit you where it hurts the most. For example, euthanasia. Euthanasia, the ability to legally end up the life of another human beings by means of conscious choice. Killing being in the name of profit and the victim, while at the same time to provide an alternative to suicide and clean death without suffering, like we do with animals. If the medical establishment cannot profit on your slow death, it will profit on your rapid death. And this is Death Sciences of the Zodiac. This goes out for you vegans as well, because you kill your plants. You mutilate them by cutting their leaves. Some plants are even eaten alive, so they are living beings also. And so let's get our minds straight and stop following other people's voices. Listen to nature voices when they say, my fruits are offerings that I let go of for free, in order for you to eat them and grow strong and tall like a tree. Nature follows analogy by nature. Any type of fruit tree delivers. Let's let go of the fruits willingly to anyone, any living being that can take the properties for their betterment as a God sovereign free being. I could speak more about this, but I won't. It is time for a small exercise again. The closing exercise. Another easy one. Just look at yourself and take note of the first thought that comes into mind after all this that you have listened. My thought is, the world is insane while we drink champagne in the middle of a dark rain, living in what seems to be the upside-down world where finally we can see the actors behind the scenes of this geopolitical madness. While at the same time, I think about all the people that are ready to make a change to restore this upside-down world into its original magnificence. The world for me, it is this small planetary sphere. By all together changing the world, starting by changing a small fraction of ourselves daily, are we changing it in all potential timelines, spaces and places, known and unknown, seen and unseens, where this world may possibly exist in this vast multidimensional sea of the universal creation. I see you. Is that thought your own thought? How can I be sure that is my own voice? 1 minute of silence to think it over. Is this me? My own writings? Am I channeling something that is not my own? Who created this session? Was it Ra, the Yellow Crystal Warrior kin? Was the kin for this day? Was it me? Who am I? And where do all these thoughts come from and return to? In each moment of silence, the one who took it deeper, he, she, it, were actually integrating the self by the self. Therefore, you are this I am that I am unified field of coherent, pure, raw, non-adulterated energy, standing scalar wave frequency, standing rooted in this ever-present moment of the now. I have these voices in my head. Do you have these voices in your head telling you that you are energy? That everything is energy? Then you are life unfolding, rooted on this ever-present moment of the now. Sorry to end this session with another set of questions, but I do love the phrase never-ending story. Short, direct, and quite expressive. What about for the closing, we perform a small breathwork exercise. Let's breathe there for a moment like we did prior, breathing in and out at your own pace, gently loving yourself, loving the I am unified field of coherent, plasmatic energy that you are right now. Breathe in and out the energy that you are. See yourself surrounded in that 360-degree fashion sphere, engulfed by this magnificent rainbow plasma light. Integrate this part of yourself, the plasma being that you are. There are 6 main plasmas. There are 6 different parts of yourself to be integrated. Now you hear this voice from deep inside telling you that you are love, sound, vibration, energy, and that you are never alone nor separated from the wall of universal creation that you belong to. Breathing here for one moment at your own pace. Energy. 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 That's it, you dear, beautiful souls, made of love and light. You have made it this far. You were, are, and will be capable of integrating the self step by step, day by day, in order to build up consistency to integrate the self. This will only get better with time. If you can only give yourself a little time to integrate all those parts of yourself that you already know and those parts of yourself that you yet do not know. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Wishes of a very good day and fantastic integrations. We are Ra, the Yellow Crystal Warrior Kin 116, the Pathfinder, and we love you. Namaste.